This is going to be an interesting one for sure. Let me get things ready. Zimbabwe. Why are you're out of focus? About a year ago today, someone gave me this. And you know how there's a lot of YouTube videos out there, or just, articles, what have you. And it's like, here's what you should do with this new thing you've acquired. This is the opposite. This is me asking for help. We've been getting along pretty well. First of all, oh my god, so rude of me. I haven't introduced you guys. This is Miss Mouse. I don't remember what her name was before. I think it was Luna. And I love Sailor Moon as much as anyone, but I've also worked in veterinary. We don't need any more Lunas. We don't. So I'm putting an end to that. I call her Miss Mouse because my stepdad thought she was a rat, and that's how I ended up with her. Hold on. So let's start from the beginning. Hey. Okay, she does actually want to be part of this, I guess. So, I've never had a ferret before. Growing up in the suburbs of South Florida, I had too many animals. In my adult life, I had too many animals. None of them were ever these limousine rats, these noodle possums. I've played with ferrets before at like different pet stores that had them. So all I knew was ferrets are friends. Ferrets are kind of like kittens. And that's the knowledge that's gotten me through at this point. But yeah, this is going to be interesting actually, especially with the context of my last video. A year ago, last October, I was in Florida for a celebration of life. She's fine. And on our last night there, we were all at a dinner, and my stepdad was on Facebook during the family dinner, middle-aged men and their phones. And all of a sudden he turns his phone to me and he's like, "Do you want this?" And it's just a picture of a 4-story cage with a little white ferret inside. And I said, "Oh, I mean, I guess I've never had a ferret before." And he goes, "Oh, I thought it was a rat." I was a girl who had a lot of rats growing up. Not all at once, but I think I had like 9 over the years. They only live like a couple of years, guys. So, and they're great. They're wondrous. Ferrets are different. Ferrets are not rats. Ferrets aren't rodents. Ferrets are mustelids. They are weasels. They are predators. I knew that. And again, I knew ferret equals friend. So I was like, yeah, sure. So we came back up to Tennessee the next day. And that same day, my parents dropped me off, picked me back up because I wasn't going to be able to transport this whole cage in my Ford Focus hatchback. And we drove down to wherever the hell she was and picked her up. Now, here's the information I was given from these people who gave her and all of her stuff away to me for free. I'm talking like, obviously ferrets are expensive to buy up front. She's a Marshall ferret. She's got tattoos on her ears, which I looked up. She's been spayed. She's been descented, or whatever they call it for ferrets. And she is a Marshall ferret. I kind of knew about Marshall ferrets too, but that's a different tangent. Anyways, so they gave me all of her stuff, all of her toys, all the food she had, her whole entire cage, all of her bedding, her litter box, the litter, puppy pads to kind of go in the bottom tray, like literally everything she had. They just gave it to me. I didn't have to pay a dime. These were not bad people. The lady who had her was an older woman. She had rescued Miss Mouse from a different owner who, for whatever reason, couldn't take care of her anymore. And then she herself had had 5 strokes. Yeah, I would also be rehoming my ferret in that situation when I can no longer take care of her properly. So no shade to her whatsoever. She did make me promise to take good care of her. So ma'am, I've been doing my best. So, anyways, Miss Mouse. Oh, right. That's why she's named Miss Mouse. You know, for obvious reasons, because my stepdad thought she was a rat. Anyways, I take her home. All I know is she's female. She is about 5 years old from what they told me. And that's it. I had to find out on my own that she was deaf. Based on the previous owners and their whole conversation and how they told me everything they could think of, they did not know she was deaf. I found out she was deaf. At first I was like, maybe ferrets are hard of hearing. Maybe because they're ferrets, you know, they're not quite like dogs or cats. They don't listen necessarily. And then I ran some experiments where I would get up behind her and go, or she'd be knocked out in her cage and I'd be like, this is a great time to vacuum under here. Or like do one of those with garbage bags, and she didn't move. And ferrets are very heavy sleepers, but girl, this is like death. And she doesn't make any noise. She doesn't. She's duked, which is a happy noise that ferrets make. It's like a little, I don't know how to describe it, but with her, it's barely audible. And from what I've seen, ferrets that carry predominantly white coloration tend to be deaf or have a higher chance of being deaf, just like with any type of animal, really. She is not albino. She has burgundy eyes. She has some color on her tail, but she is a predominantly white-colored ferret, and she doesn't make noise. And, from what I've seen, not me interrupting myself, from what I've seen online, deaf ferrets can go one of 2 ways. They can either make almost no noise or be the loudest you've ever heard in your life. Again, like many animals, when my cat was on his way out, he started getting loud. And I was like, oh, your hearing's going, buddy. You don't even know where you are. You're trying to use echolocation. Anyways, so yeah, she is deaf. Again, ferrets being heavy sleepers and her being deaf, it's been a bit of a challenge. I let her out and I let her roam in my current bedroom, because the rest of the house is unfinished. There's a lot of furniture and appliances that I don't want her getting under. I learned when I brought her home to my apartment, which is where I lived last year when I got her, that they can fit into very small spaces. Small spaces you would never even think that they can fit into, but ferrets are determined. Again, they're little weasels. They're going to weasel their way in. I had her for 5 days and I thought I lost her forever, because she went into this little, I mean, this thick. I'm besties. She squeezed in there somehow and then she couldn't get back out. And it was this little grate under our living room fireplace that we never used. And we were on the 3rd floor. And I said, I don't know if this just falls right through, to be honest. I've had this ferret for 5 days. She's gone. But the thing is, she could get in there, but then she couldn't get back out for whatever reason. And so I was like Tom and Jerry. I was sitting there, I was waiting. I said, girl, just stick your head out. Just do it. And she did. And I, like, the teeniest scruff you've ever seen in your life, I like grabbed her and kind of slid her out of there, and she was fine. And then I barricaded that. Then again in the apartment, I lost her completely. And it turns out that her deaf ass had crawled up and behind the dishwasher and fallen asleep. So I had to kind of just learn, like, all right, she's been out for a minute. She's probably fallen asleep somewhere. There's no way for me to wake her up if I don't know where she is. So I just got to wait it out until I hear little skirt. And now in this current house, I've learned my lesson. She is only allowed in the master suite, which is my room. So she's got my bedroom, and then she's got back there where the light's on, the closet. She loves the closet. She loves trying to get into bags. She's currently, look at that. She's trying to get into one of my boots. She loves shoes. I don't know why. She says, I'm an accessories girl. Look at that. On camera. Caught in 4K. So anyways, she has her things. She likes shoes. She loves a bath. Bath, shower, what have you. Unless it's time for her specifically to get bathed, she's all about it. Now, when it is her turn to get bathed, different story. She never bites or anything, though. She's very good. She'll, like, fight me, give up, fight me, give up, and then when I finally, like, take her out of the sink and go to dry her off, it's just, it's wilder than a dog running around acting like, you know, she's barely escaped the clutches of death. But yeah, if I'm in the shower, I've had to get my, like bath mat and kind of put it over the side so she can climb in and out. Otherwise, she will just sit there and dig. She loves being in the shower. She loves digging around in the water droplets. She loves licking your legs when they're wet. If I'm in a bath, I'm gonna have some B-roll that I'm gonna put on in there. I don't know if that just did anything. Anyways, she loves to try and get in the bath, especially a bubble bath, and I try my best to keep her out, but sometimes, every once in a while, I'm like, if you fall in, I'm gonna catch you, but that's your own thing. Wow, I'm giving a lot of information, aren't I? So, the point of this whole video, though, is that I've never had a ferret before. And so instead of making a video of like, this is how you take care of a ferret, I'm making a video that's, how do you take care of a ferret? If anyone who has ferrets or knows about ferrets is watching this, please help me. So the cage that she has, again, I'm probably going to like put up pictures, is a nice cage for rats. I've had a very similar cage to this for rats before, except both sides opened. If you can listen to me right now, if you can pick a cage for rats, chinchillas, ferrets, whatever it is, make sure that the whole front can open up. It's so much nicer and so much easier. But you know, beggars can't be choosers. This is like a $300 cage that I got for free. Whatever. I know it's not the best because it does have wire floors on the main floors. So I try to cover that up with as much bedding as possible. It's also very vertical. And I've seen examples of cages that are recommended for ferrets, and they are very vertical. And you know, ferrets can climb a little bit, but these are like steep plastic. Like, I know I could put some more, I'll probably end up putting fabric over those as well to make it easier for it to climb. Ferrets are burrowing animals. I would think that they would need a more wide setup than a tall setup. But she gets along on there just fine. Here's the thing, she's a singular ferret. They're very social animals. They need outside time. She's a little bit older. Excuse me. She's a little bit older, and I think that plays into one of the reasons why I haven't gotten her a companion. Also, because I never planned to get a ferret in the first place. But like right now, I've had her out for maybe not even an hour, 30, 45 minutes, and she's already curled up on the rug, just like, all right, I'm going to take a nap. And she does that. She'll put herself away. I made like a little step so she can get in and out of her cage as she wants when the door is open. And there's times where I'm like, oh, where'd she go? And I look in all of her normal spots, you know, my dirty clothes, the dog beds, where she'll normally conk out. And sometimes she's just back in her cage, in her bed, even though it's wide open. But I digress. So I haven't gotten her a companion. I don't feel the need to get her a companion because I honestly don't know if I'll want another ferret after this. Again, I didn't plan for her. She's great, but that's part of the reason why I don't want another one. I'm very aware that I got lucky. So first and foremost, she doesn't make a lot of noise. I don't know if ferrets really make a ton of noise normally, but that's great. Second, she's really great with the litter box. If she's out and about, you know, she'll poop in corners, which is apparently a ferret thing. I didn't know that was a ferret thing. I didn't know throwing yourself around like you have brain damage when you're happy is a ferret thing. I was very shocked when we first started to play, but she's great about that normally. And like, she's not a thief. She's not a liar or a thief. She really minds her own business. She'll play with her own things. She'll get into like bags and cardboard boxes and shoes, obviously, but nothing crazy. Like, by my standards, she's been a very low maintenance pet. By my standards. If you're looking for something that you can just stick in a cage and forget about, don't get a ferret. Don't. They are much more on par with like having a kitten that stays a kitten and can't jump as high, but otherwise about the same. So like, I don't know, like she'll like dig into like the toilet paper. Like if I have a thing of fresh new toilet paper, oh, she goes crazy if I don't actually put it up somewhere. I've made that mistake a few times. Again, B-roll. I'm sure that I have that video. Did I put it in? Who knows? There were several questions. I didn't know how to wash them. They gave me a whole thing of oatmeal when I picked her up. And I learned from Google that you can really wash anything with just oatmeal. Oatmeal shampoo, oatmeal soap. It came from somewhere. The backwoods folks knew what they were doing, is all I want to say on that one. So I'll fill up an old sock with some oatmeal. I'll let it soak in the sink in some lukewarm water. It gets all cloudy. And then I wash her in that about once a month. And while I do that, I deep clean her cage, throw all of the cloth items in the wash, switch out whatever's in there. I'll throw in like cardboard boxes, random toys, different things. She does not care about hammocks. She doesn't understand gravity. Also, she'll get on your shoulder or like be in your hands and she's like, all right, I'm going to go. And you're like, oh, that's not how this works. She has full sent herself off my bed before of her own accord. And she's learned where the dog bed is, or like if I have a basket of laundry, she'll like launch into that. But there's other times when I'm like, you could have just asked. Sometimes she comes to me and I'll like put her down, but like she doesn't always do that. Sometimes she believes she can fly. I want us all to aspire to have the level of confidence that a ferret possesses naturally. As far as like cleaning the litter boxes, I do that once a day, maybe every other day if I'm feeling crazy. The thing that I also didn't know about ferrets, their stinks. It's like nothing you've ever experienced before. They are very oil-based creatures. And their excrement, very oily, very stinky. The only thing that I found that worked is paper litter, and I've tried everything else. And when I say paper litter, I mean the compressed pellet paper litter. I do not mean like Carefresh. Is that slander? I do not mean like what I used for my guinea pigs growing up. You know what I mean? Like the paper bedding, not the same as the paper pellets. Again, I could kind of experiment with her because she doesn't eat things she's not supposed to. That's another way I'm spoiled. She's never attacked my like chargers. I can kind of leave my room a mess and she doesn't get into anything. It's honestly great. So if I tried to get another ferret, do you see what I'm saying? It would be like that second kid syndrome. I'd be setting myself up for failure. There's no way. But yeah, I just did her nails earlier today. That's another thing I could use some advice on. I have a system that works thanks to a random YouTube video I found. So when I first got her, her nails were long. Again, they're burrowing animals, kind of like how a rodent's teeth just grow and grow and grow. And you've got to keep on track with that. Her nails, like most animals, but especially ferrets' front feet, her nails are going to grow very fast because in the wild she'd be digging. So I try to do that about every 2 weeks. Seems to work for us, or just when I start noticing like little things snagging in her nails. And I've learned, I recorded this earlier, so I've learned to kind of like take some of your roommate's vegetable oil, put it in a little syringe, fold her over so that she can lick at the oil. And then while she's distracted by that, just clip her nails. Not hard to do. The issue is that I then saw months later that apparently vegetable oil is bad for them. So it seems like there's two different schools of thought on that. Which, if you have an animal, bless you, if you have an animal of any kind, you're going to run into opinions, right? And you're going to run into facts that clash, and people who are in two different camps on any given issue. So, take everything with a grain of salt. I will say right off the bat, am I the best ferret owner that's ever existed? No. Am I doing awfully? No. For someone who went into this not knowing a lot, but knowing just basic animal husbandry and common sense, we're doing okay. She loves to get in Hopper's bed specifically. Every once in a while she'll get in Twain's crate, but they're not cool in the same way. Her and Hopper can hang out. Twain, not so much. He's a 60-pound puppy, and his first instinct is, wow, I love you, let me punch you in the head. So they're not left just out together. But through the cages, they're besties. If he's in his crate, she loves to go over there and annoy him, stick her head between the bars, even though that's a bad idea, and he, licks her. And if she's in her cage, he likes to go over there and annoy her too. So we're working on that. We're building up to when he's got a little more self-realization. Anyways, but we haven't had any health issues. I would say as far as veterinary care, from what I've seen, again, kind of on par with a cat. They are supposed to get annual immunizations. They are supposed to be on any kind of preventative that you would give for a cat. Like I've seen Revolution Plus, which is a great product. Do it. Have I done it? No. Is that bad? Yes. Because even though my dogs are on preventative, they can still bring in parasites. Even if those parasites will then bite them and die, before they do that, if they jump off and land on a ferret, it could be bad. However, I haven't been keeping her on preventative. Ooh, sorry about it. She's white, and I mess with her every day, and so far I just haven't seen a need. So if it gets to that point, that's my bad. That's me saying to you, I messed up. I'm sorry. Preemptive apology video on that. Oh, food. I feed her cat food. I know that I'm going to put the stats up here because I can't remember them off the top of my head. For their fat and protein, it's very important that you get close to or above what's recommended because, again, they are carnivores. But back in the day before there was ferret food, when people would keep ferrets in the US, they would just feed them cat food. And I really like 4Health cat food. I've found that cat food and dog food, I like to actually look at ratings. When I had cats, I fed them dry food. Once again, it was the easiest thing for me. It was best for them because the wet food was a problem. So again, even though there's a lot of people who are like, don't feed your cats dry food, I never had an issue with it. It's cheap for what it is. It's good quality. And it's readily available by me. You can only buy this brand at Tractor Supply. Not sponsored. Not sponsored at all. This is just my experience. Obviously, everybody has their preference. Have they had recalls? Yes. What brand hasn't? That's my question to you. If I'm supposed to avoid every mass-produced brand that has ever had an issue, where would I go? I'd be completely self-reliant already. Which I'd like to be. But anyways, okay, I went on a tangent again. I really hope that when I'm editing, I can make some sense out of this. But there's no guarantees. You get what you get. This has already been 27 minutes of me just rambling. Oatmeal baths, once a month. Deep clean, once a month. Cut the nails using vegetable oil, twice a month. Food, 4Health cat food, dry. Water. I would love to give her a water bottle. I know there's issues with water bottles, but oh my God, ferrets dirty up their water and it's so nasty. She has one that's like a bowl with the thing on it. I can't think of what it's called, but there's like a retainer of water, and as she drinks, it kind of comes out. Good Lord, she's always digging in that. I'm looking into getting her like a spill-proof bowl. Any recommendations on that? I'd love to hear it. Toys and treats for a ferret who doesn't really like toys or treats. She loves her ping pong balls. She loves a ball of paper rolled up and thrown. And she has one little like cat toy that she'll chase sometimes. As for ferret treats, hold on, I'll show you. So when she came to me, she had a bag of these, right? The raisin flavored bandits. And they were like old and dried out. She loved these. However, I bought her a brand new pack. She refuses to eat them. They're soft, they're chewy, refuses. So that's a waste. I've also gotten these, which is the same brand, but like freeze-dried rabbit. I've had to give them to the dogs. These are now dog treats because she doesn't care. The only thing besides vegetable oil I can get her to like is ferret lax. Again, they had some of this when they first gave her to me, and I couldn't figure out a treat that she would like. And I'm like, everybody needs a treat. And I don't want to just throw her in the cage dry with nothing to look forward to. So I started putting a little smear of that on like the steps right inside the cage door. It's the only thing that she goes ham for. And I just give her a little bit every day. She's never had any issues since I've had her in this year with hairballs or like using the resting room. But she loves that stuff, and it's the only thing I can use. So I don't know what number we're on anymore, but yeah, treats and toys for a ferret who doesn't really like treats and toys. I don't know if I have any more questions, but yeah, help me, please. I'd greatly appreciate it. As far as me and my life, I decided to shoot this now because I am dressed up. Why am I dressed up, you might ask? For a funeral. I'm just kidding, it's not a funeral. It's a celebration of life. So we've really come we've come full circle. We've come full circle. You want to see my fit? Do you want to see my fit? Here we go. Cool. I left this box out for her to play in, and it's worked so far. Oh, I'm way too far back. This is the fit. This is one of those dresses that have like the built-in. It's a romper, and it has pockets. Right? Girl, does this outfit say sorry for your loss? R.I.P. He was a very nice older man, and he had a sense of humor. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Mouse. He's not really feeling it right now. Okay, bye.